Hey guys, it's Brittany from Coffee Planner Mom, and I'm here today planning in my recipe planner. And today we're going to be doing apple muffins. So this one is actually a request idea, whatever you want to call it, from my husband. I wasn't sure what to do next, so I texted him because he uses my recipe planner more than I use it. I plan in it, he grabs it, he uses them. So he wants me to do apple muffins next, so apple muffins is what we're going to do. I did not preparely reach for my pens. There we go. I'm going to use my Papermate Ink Joy gel pen in the 0.7 to write the name, and then we're also going to have kind of a little thing off to the side to keep track of the streusel topping that I put on this, or maybe, yeah, because I don't think it needs its whole own spread. So, no, I was gonna do a fancy writing, but I kind of like the idea of keeping it pretty uniform across all of my other spreads. So I don't use a super fancy writing up here in the top. I just use my regular print. So I wanted to keep it that way. For the spread itself, I'm going to use this gel pen from Simply Gilded. It's a finer tip. I like to just have that differentiation so that this looks a little bit bigger and more bold than the spread itself. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about decorating and designing this. Normally, what I like to do is just list the ingredients, and I think that's what I'll do to try to keep it simple. I might need to pull the, maybe not, actually. All right, we're going to get a little bit creative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep it a little more off to the left so that I have space on the right, and we'll see how well this works for me. All right, so I was going to be one line short of being able to fit all of the ingredients over here in the left column. So I have 3 over here and I have 3 extra over here, but that's okay because of what I'm imagining doing. So hopefully it does work out for me, and we will see. So now I want to get into the steps. I'm just going to go ahead and finish writing in all of this and kind of spare you the boringness. Hopefully I sped through that too. Well, I know I sped through it, but I'll probably just fade in and fade out, which is what I'm gonna do now. Okay, so now I have everything written down. I have some space here because that's where I'm going to put the ingredients for the streusel mix, and then I'm going to actually use washi to divide this up. So yeah, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So here's the ingredients. I wanted to make sure that I have space to put a little bit of washi here and going down. I have this marked off just so that I can make sure that I started this far enough over, so I'm going to actually box it all in. And then down here, hold on, how did I do that? Okay, so I started that there. So that's what I'm gonna also do. I'm going to make sure that I start it on this line. So it's gonna look like a newspaper column as I write it, although that's actually looks pretty comparable to the columns in a regular classic Happy Planner. So it'll be okay. Okay, so this is perfectly done the way I want it. So I have washi picked out. So it is from Simply Gilded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this green to go down the sides, and I think I'm going to use the pink to go with it. I think I'm going to skip on the purple. I think pink and green are the colors that I'm going to go with. And then, like I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to extend it a little bit further. Oh, hold on, I gotta come up here. But this is gonna create like a box so that, because I wasn't sure if I was going to actually have a box that was going to work. So I figured I'd do this. Do I want to use the pink, or do I want to just keep using all of the green and just make it a solid green box? I kind of think that's what I'm gonna do. I think that would end up being really cute. So that's just what I'm gonna do. Is that straight? I don't know. It's hard to tell because like it's kind of an arbitrary line, you know? Okay, I think that'll do. All right, so I have excess, and that's what I wanted because I wanted to make sure that I lined everything up perfectly. So you saw me ripping the washi using a card. So this side I use when I use my Fiskars blade. This side I use when I tear it. This side's all jagged and it does not rip cleanly, but this one does. I don't use this card anymore. We don't have a Sam's Club membership. So that's why I use this as my crafting one, because it is pretty beat up at this point. So for this, I want to make sure that it's a little more exact. So that's why we are using a blade instead of just ripping it, because these are all coming together at the corners. Did I? Okay, I think I got that. Use the blade itself to try to give me some leverage over it. Make sure I turn this. But yeah, so that was my idea for this, just so that I could keep the topping recipe on the same spread as the muffins that I use the topping recipe with. I can't get that. There we go. Sometimes my nails just don't let me do what I need to do. But let me just get this last one. I think that looks really cute. It definitely gives it that like fun vibe. So I have space. I want to decorate a little bit more. I have apples somewhere. There they are in this sticker book. So I'm going to pull those out. I don't have like, I did look before I started doing this. I don't have any washi tape that's in these colors. So that's why I really couldn't use, like why I'm ending up using this washi instead. Also because this one I can turn on its side like that. So what I'm gonna do, I will stick the red apple over here, and then I'm gonna stick a green apple right here because that's adorable. And then, I mean, I've got more, so why not? Do I want to stick that there? Would that be a little odd? Okay, so I put these down here. I actually think that looks pretty cute. But there's just still a lot of space here that I want to fill in. So I'm going to use this washi. It matches the pink I was going to use. Because they all came in the same subscription box. So what I'll do is I will just go ahead and stick this right up here. It's funny because I usually make this, like I make it a lot in the fall because we go apple picking and we end up with a ton of apples. And the first year oh my God, the first year we did it, you go and you can get a half of a bushel of apples and you go and you pick the apples yourself. And we're like, yeah, half a bushel, that sounds great. We didn't realize what a half bushel actually was. And then we ended up with entirely too many. I brought the bag home and I put it next to a regular gallon of paint to see like a comparative size. And the bag of apples was like double the size of the paint. So that was a lot of apples. We initially just went because we were like, oh yeah, we'll pick some apples that we can eat. But then it was like, I need to find something to do with these apples because they're gonna go bad. And that is how the apple muffin came, the apple pie recipe, apple crepes. Like we have figured out a ton of apple recipes because we needed to. I didn't fill in over here, and that's actually rather important. Okay, so it makes 12 muffins, and they're really generously sized. Sometimes I'm all like, main ingredients, it's in the name of the recipe, but that's okay because like if you're just flipping through the recipe planner and you're looking for something, then you'll see what the main ingredient is and be like, oh, here's an apple recipe, because that's always what happens. I need an apple recipe. And then boom, here it is. So we will do main ingredient is apples. And this topping is so amazing. It is a little unfortunate that I wasn't able to write down the, like the name of what it is. So it's okay though. Maybe I could have put it there. It's all right. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I'm going to tell myself that. I guess I should have put the 2 eggs over here and then move those up one. So it's fine. As far as how hard this is, I'm just going to give it a 3 difficulty because it's really not that hard. This is one that I usually do. I know that I always say about my husband does everything in the kitchen. I'm usually the baker, but sometimes he just feels like going into the kitchen and baking. And yeah, so he did that this weekend actually. I was out shopping with my oldest. I came back, realized I needed to go to Wegmans, and when I came home from Wegmans, he had gotten the planner kid, so my middle daughter. He asked her, where does mommy keep the recipe planner? Because I had actually brought it downstairs because I was going to film yesterday, and then I didn't film yesterday and I'm filming now. Normally I leave it in the dining room. So he had the planner kid find the recipe planner on my desk, and he flipped because he knew that we had the chocolate chip recipe in there. So he flipped to the chocolate chip recipe and made chocolate chip cookies yesterday while I was at Wegmans. So I asked him what he wanted in here, and he said apple muffins, because he's capable of baking. He's just definitely stronger at the winging it style, which is basically cooking, and I need things to be incredibly precise, which you don't usually get when you're cooking like chicken or Italian dishes or anything like that, but you get stuff that is precise when you're baking, because baking is like chemistry, and I loved chemistry. one of my favorite subjects when I was in school. So that's why baking is usually my realm, but he will bake as long as he has the recipe. So now that we have the recipe, he probably wants to bake this at some point. Okay, so I feel like there should be notes. I never serve this with anything. It's muffins, you know? I feel like there's notes I could write down. I thought of one. You gotta make sure that for the streusel topping, that oh, I could do fancy writing over here. Hold on. Okay, let me just put down the butter, because, yeah, hold on. Okay, there, I've got it. And only in a recipe from me would you see thoroughly incorporated in the same sentence as clumpy. But I don't really know any other way to explain it, because if the butter is not thoroughly mixed in and just very fine, and it's clumpy, then it'll actually melt and the muffin tops will be like, not really all that good. So anyway, I'm going to, I think I'll actually use this. You guys, I am like so obsessed with this right now. I love the way that the streusel there is. This way you know that that box is for the streusel. And I've put down here, serve with love. I can't be any more pleased with this spread. I do need to make sure that I let it dry because I used a lot of ink and it is a gel pen. But yeah, I'll get this in my planner in just a little while. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already so that you don't miss out on any of my other videos. The bell will actually give you pop-up notifications every time a new video goes live on my channel. And be sure to be following me over on Instagram. Over there, I am at Coffee Planner Mom, and I will see you guys later.